simulcast the Neil Haley Show and the Stay On Course podcast with our host, Julie Riga. Julie, how are you? And excited always to co-host with you and get to talk some fun topics, especially in business. How are you, Julie?
I'm doing great, thank you, and I'm excited for this conversation.
Yeah, our guest today is Tracy Poisner of Space Time Alchemy. Tracy and I work together. I produce her podcast and we do a bunch of different types of things. But what I love about Tracy is she brings something new and a new technology that will help will help high performers. But go ahead, Julie, with your first question. Hi, Tracy.
Hi.
Hi, Tracy. Thanks for being on the show today. So tell us a little bit about some ingredients for success for high performers.
Yeah, so it's a good question. I love working with people who are high performers, high achievers, people who have high standards. They know what they want. They've already done a lot of people who are high achievers have done a lot of personal work. That's how you get there. It's one of the ingredients. We just watched the Olympics, right? And all of those people are doing personal work, not just physical training, right? They're doing personal mindset work and personal growth work. So when we want to take somebody who is already performing at a high level, thinking now in business more specifically than athletics, let's just say, I think one thing that comes up a lot is not confusing like settling with being satisfied. It's not correct to be like flogging yourself for more and more, but placing yourself on a growth edge because you want something more, because you know that you're always capable of more, and not it's not a kind of a negating what you've already done in the sense of never thinking that something is good enough. So it's okay to not be satisfied with standard success, to not settle for what other people think is successful. And I know a lot of high performers struggle because the people around them say, when will it ever be enough for you? It's never enough for you. And it's not enough. It's not supposed to be enough for other people. I mean, or it can be enough for other people, but you're not those other people. And they may not be high performers themselves who understand, the power of the kind of thrill that you get from constantly expanding yourself.
Very interesting. I think
Yeah.
it's very interesting because I don't know, Neil, I don't know how you feel about the word average. Are you okay with that word?
No, absolutely not.
Well, it's a
Here's the
word.
reason
You don't have
why.
to.
It's
Yeah.
average is something. If you're average in something, it's not your great, it's not your gift, it's not your talent. We all have something that we can achieve higher than many, many people in the world. And it doesn't matter who you are, you're going to have that high standard for something. It could be cooking. It could be, there's something out there that you are the top 1% in the world at, or a top 1% in the United States, wherever you're from or in your town. So I think when you look at average, yes, we're average in certain things, but yet we have to find what our talents are and we need to achieve them to the highest level and not settle for average. Average is okay if you're not very good at something. And I might get in trouble for what I say about this, but what are your thoughts, Tracy?
Oh, I agree with you completely. I would even go so far as to say that I think that everyone is actually the best in the world at something that they do. And usually it's something so, what am I going to say? It's something that feels so easy to you, that feels so natural to you that you don't consider it a skill. It's just something that you do, or it's a quality that you have that doesn't take any effort, and you don't think it's particularly special, but other people are impressed with it, or they notice it, or they appreciate it in some way. So this is a part of our, self-image and self-view that really comes into play when we're talking about people who are high performers. They seem to have a greater ability maybe than the average person to acknowledge where their gifts are, or to acknowledge something that they're good at and to pursue it.
Yeah.
A lot of people are really afraid of shining at their brightest. There's a lot at stake there in terms of being judged or being rejected, putting other people off, not wanting to outshine someone, not wanting to attract attention. Those are qualities that hold us back from performing
Yeah.
in excellence.
Exactly. And these high performers are doing the growth work. They're doing the growth work, and they're understanding where the opportunities are and where they might fall short. Tell us another ingredient.
I think it's important to understand the difference between incremental growth and exponential growth. And what's required, like obviously the normal way is to improve incrementally, to practice whatever your skill is, or to do certain moves from a business point of view to go up the ladder. We don't generally move from the mail room to the CEO all in one, over a weekend or something like that. But high performers are people who have the capacity to stream the frequency of exponential growth.
Mm.
They're not afraid of it, or they're going to stop growing if they are afraid of it. It's important to not be afraid of the frequency of exponential growth. And it's going to require you to do things in a different way. When you do things the ordinary way, or the average way, as Neil was just saying, like average moves yield average results, average being, ordinary incremental progress, the way we're used to seeing it. And if you want to have that kind of overnight sensation, or that kind of breakthrough energy, it's going to require a different approach. And it requires getting rid of some baggage, some emotional and psychological baggage that you can't take with you through that portal to exponential growth.
When
No.
you say exponential growth, what exactly are you speaking of?
I'm talking about the things that you like read about in the news, or from a like let's say from an athletic point of view. I became aware of the world of ultra marathon running a while back, which is not something that I engage in at all as a person. I don't even, I'm not watching it as a spectator, but I was really, really interested in the kind of improvements that people were able to achieve. So, in terms of like going from being able to run, 250 miles to 350 miles to 450 miles. Like the same guy was able to do that over a number of events over a couple of years. He might have been able to do it, one right after the other. In fact, I mean, we don't know that wasn't possible, but it's not going 10% more than your last best effort. It's like going 50% more, doubling your last best effort.
Yeah.
It's like increasing your business by 10 times, not by 10%. And that is it's always an option. It's always possible. There's always a move where some new product or new service or new clientele or new way of marketing expands your business suddenly so that it grows by 10 times in a short period of time, right?
Yeah.
That's exponential growth.
Yeah.
Right. You know what? I'm going to add to this before we go to the third ingredient. It's so true. But what about when you beat yourself up too much, Tracy? Because you mentioned that at the beginning of this podcast, beating yourself up. So you don't hit that 10x in the quarter. You set it up, and someone crazy said, Q3, I'm going to hit 10x. when really certain cues you might have a better shot. Just all depends on different things,
If
but you
if
beat
you're
yourself up. You
if
beat
you're
yourself.
beating yourself up, it's because you were doing it for the wrong reason. If
Mm.
you're going after exponential growth because you want to impress people or prove something, if you want to prove that you're smart enough or good enough or whatever, if there's something at stake, then this is what I'm talking about. And it actually like blends right into the point number 3 that I was going to talk about, that you have to look for the tiny shifts that are going to make all the difference. So this is where you have to hunt down, like, why does this matter to me? Why does it matter? And if if the answer isn't because it's fun to try, if the answer is because I need that money to pay back a loan I took, or everyone's going to laugh at me if this doesn't work, right? We have to look for the kind of shadow, the archetypal shadow voices in the background that are causing you to stay hooked to some kind of survival meaning to the moves that you make. If the moves that you make have something to do with surviving, like this had better work or else, you're never going to get there. You can't do exponential growth that way. You can't hang on to those little pieces of, baggage, as we would say, from your old self that just wants some kind of you want conventional appreciation. And exponential growth might come with no conventional appreciation. There might be a realm in which it's not, how can I say this? It doesn't get noticed. And if you need to be noticed, you're not going to get there. That's not how it works. Right. So I love to use the example of J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series, right? She was like a welfare single mom who apparently, wrote this whole incredible book out like longhand in a 3-ring binder or whatever. And nobody wanted to buy it. Nobody wanted to buy it. And then, after the 13th editor or, publishing house that she went to, somebody took a chance on her. And then she became the wealthiest woman in Great Britain. Like it's nothing can touch the success of the Harry Potter series. So that's like, you have to not care. You have to not say, this has to sell. I need to pay my rent. It has to be, I don't care. Like, I know that someone is going to take this and I don't care how long it takes. And nobody's going to tell me that this isn't the most wonderful book that's ever been written. I love it. You have to just love it enough yourself and not care what anyone else thinks. It's kind of it's a weird combination of being driven to succeed and pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, and also wanting it for the right reasons, which have to do with knowing what your purpose is and sticking to that.
I love it. Tell us the last ingredient.
Salted caramel.
I like salted caramel.
I don't know what else to say. I mean, that's the last ingredient. That's my favorite food. You told me you were going to ask about that, but
Yeah, but so you're saying the exponential growth is your final.
The last ingredient is to look for these tiny things that are holding you back, right? To look into your motivation for getting it. So that if there's something that feels like, if I don't get this, something's, I'm going to be really disappointed. People are going to laugh at me. I'm going to feel like a failure. I can't pay my, my rent. Nobody's going to buy my thing anymore. I'll never take another chance, right? If you can hear that negative self-talk around not succeeding, then you have to take care of that. You have to take care of that and purge yourself of your kind of worst case scenario. You have to be ready to look at your worst case scenario straight in the eyes if you want to
100%.
live in this world of high performance and exponential growth.
I had that kind of awakening this weekend and I made some big changes. And Julie doesn't know about them yet. She'll find out tomorrow. But ultimately, when you look at things or the reason why you're doing things, and I'll go with it, Tracy. You could have all the greatest positivity and everything about it, but if you're doing it for the wrong reason, a reason of looking at somebody else, say, hey, look at them, what I'm proving, and all those different things. If you're doing it for the love of it, and this is a goal and this is a game, and I'm going to go to the highest level, and whatever happens, happens, you're more likely for success. I'll give you an example. If I'm killing it and I have a good client base and everything's going well and I don't need a sale, I'm more likely to get a sale than when
That's right.
I have I need this sale this week. It's a slow week. I got to get it. I'm not going to get it. Or it's the end of the month or something and it's like it's not going to happen. Because when you can let yourself go and you're confident in what you're doing, and if someone says no, it's not going to make you cry, or if you go certain or you have not hit your numbers, then you say, hey, I put all I can into it. But exponential growth is to put the effort and the work in and then let the results speak
And
for
then let
themselves.
go. That's it. That's it. I mean, my work is all about energetics, right? So what you were saying before, that's it. If your energy is about self-doubt in some way, or about desperation, or about worry, or about, low self-worth or low self-esteem or whatever, right? About wondering, about anything like that. That's not the energy that is going to bring the results toward you that you want. And I mean, there's a whole rabbit hole that we'll dive into another time, right? But we are all manifesting every minute. Even people who have never taken lessons or they don't know how to do it, they don't know what manifesting is about. Everyone is manifesting every minute. You just don't understand why you are not able to bring what you want towards you. You're bringing things that you don't want. You think you don't want them, but your energy is all about that. So that's a thing.
I love it. So Tracy, tell us what's next for you. Where can the audience find out more about you?
They can find out more about me from going to tracypoisner.com. What have I got coming up? I still am teaching my program, my Space-Time Alchemy program, in a 12-month teaching program. So I'm about to enroll new students into that. And I do one-to-one work with clients. They can reach out and find out how to experience this technology and get some exponential growth, especially if they're high performers.
And one more thing I want to add, Julie, is I tell you right now, if you're looking to be the next Michael Jordan, whatever you do, you hire Tracy. Because here's the thing, that what she's speaking about is putting the work in, working really, really hard, and knowing you're going to get that result. And if you look at the greatest people in the world that have wanted to achieve in specific areas, they had no doubt they were going to do it. LeBron, Michael Jordan, I'm thinking of sports, but you think of
Yeah.
any Olympic athlete, any skill set, high performance teachers, anything in high performance that's not average.
Yeah.
That's why you should hire Tracy.
Thank you, Tracy. This has been amazing. I learned so much. And
Thanks,
thank you for
Julie.
being a guest on the Stay on Course podcast.
Thank you. My pleasure.
All right. That was a special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show. And this